Alright. Might have noticed I'm in different... Alright, you might have noticed I'm wearing different clothes. Mostly because I'm doing this on a different day. Because the last time with, like, Bundle 6, I tried to do it all in one night. And thank God I didn't have to go to work the day after. But we're back. Doing this. I hope I'm not going to lose my mind. But we have gotten to Sorcerer. So, we've gone through the martial classes. I think those are fine, I guess. I'd still like to see a couple of buffs, but, I guess we are going to get into the spellcasters, which, to be fair, I wasn't thrilled with everything there. I think there were a couple of good things. We'll see. Sorcerer! Again, I'm not going through this entire thing. Innate magic, birthmark, whatever. I legitimately don't care. Let's get to the design notes. The Sorcerer updates. Innate sorcery empowers your spell attack rolls and save DC for a limited time. I have no idea what that means. Is that a new feature? Did they start off with a new feature? Is that what we're doing? I'm not saying that, at least. I do have the old versions open, so I can check. Where is it? Here it is. Sorcerer. Did they have... Oh yeah, they had innate sorcery. Empowers your spell attack rolls and save DCs for a limited time. Wait, innate sorcery used to be getting 2 spells. Okay. Spellcasting returns to using the sorcerer spell list rather than the arcane spell lists. Sorcerer's list now includes Sorcerer's Burst and Arcane Eruption. Which, Sorcerer's Burst used to be a spell you got at first level, and Arcane Eruption is... I'm assuming something they got later? Yeah, Arcane Eruption used to be a level 7. Used to be the level 7 feature. So they... Okay, to start this off, from what I'm seeing here, that's a good start. Because I don't know if I really reacted to that when I did the PHB Playtest 5. But I actually saw someone's take on how, you know, like in number 5, in Playtest 5, there was a thing of like, oh, you know, level 1 you got a couple of spells, level 7 you got specifically Arcane Eruption, stuff like that. And a lot of people weren't a lot of people, I actually don't know if a lot of people weren't a fan of it, but I know that someone had the take of like, that's not good design, because it's like you take away the freedom of just picking up a spell. And honestly, I understand that, and I agree with it, if I'm being perfectly honest, so, yeah. I think it's good that they got rid of that. So spellcasting, they just added a couple of spells to their list. And they're getting rid of... This is something... I heard about this. And I already mentioned it, I think, during the Fighter, the Eldritch Knight part of this video. I still don't know how I feel about that. Because, to me, the whole idea of, like, we're going to... We're going to... Hold up, sorry. I'm opening my player's handbook for a second. The whole idea of we're going to split this into 3 spell lists actually made sense to me. And now they're once again going back to specific spell lists per class, I guess. It's... I don't know, maybe they were too afraid that, like, the subclasses were gonna get too many spells, but even then you gave Wizard to Eldritch Knight. I don't know. I'm still torn on this. So yeah, I guess. Font of Magic no longer requires a bonus action to convert spell slots into sorcery points. Okay. That's weird. Okay, sure. I mean, okay. I don't know why this is an issue. Is because you can't bonus action... Is it because you can't, like, bonus action get a spell and then bonus action quicken it or something? I don't know. Okay, this seems weird. Anyway. Meta Magic gives you 2 options at level 2, 2 more at 10, 17. You can now change one of your options whenever you get a Sorcerer level. So... this... Okay, so in the previous one, they gave you 3 Meta Magic options. And you didn't get any additional ones until, oh no, sorry, until level 13. So they pretty much reset it, I think, to the player, the PHB version. Because I'm pretty sure in the original Sorcerer had it at 3, 10, and 17 rather than 2. The thing is, and I will say this, this is always something, this is like one of those small things that almost always bothered me, like with Reckless Attack from Barbarian, where it's like, oh no, it's only for your turn, which was like, this is not a crazy change and it would make so much more sense. Because it doesn't, it's really weird that like at level 2, you get Font of Magic, but your real like use for Font of Magic only came at level 3 with Meta Magic. That never made sense to me. That never really made sense to me, strangely enough. Because technically what you're saying is like if you have Font of Magic at 2nd level, what you're legitimately just saying for the Sorcerer class is, okay, so you get an additional 1st level spell slot. That's what you're saying. That's the only thing that Font of Magic really does, unless your subclass gave you something at level 1, which I don't think all subclasses did. So yeah, I think this makes sense. Sorcerer subclass returns to the 2014 level progression because, with the exception of the level 1 feature being at level 3. I mean, we knew that they were getting rid of level 1 subclasses, right? Did they do that? They did the same thing with Druid and Cleric, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't remember if they did or not, but I feel like they did. Bard already had it at 3. Yeah, exactly. So like Cleric had it at 3, and I think Druid did too. So this is something that they're pulling like for all of the classes where they're moving the subclasses to level 3. Which again, we all know why this is. This is to get rid of. This is literally just to get rid of multiclassing. Because in the end, if you think about it, multiclassing 1 level into Sorcerer immediately gives you your subclass features. Which your 1st level subclass feature. Although, were your level 1 subclass features really ever that good? I mean, Wild Magic was meh. Draconic Origin gave you a free mage armor, technically, like gave you a free permanent mage armor to an extent. Like, I don't know if you're really missing out on that much. Moving level 1 Sorcerer subclass to level 3. Let's be honest, if you multiclass into Sorcerer, you're multiclassing for Meta Magic. And for the spell slots, which you get at level 1, so. Meta Magic, you now get it too, so. I don't know if this is really going to make a difference. For subclassing, I think they're just drawing the whole subclass thing to the same level. Although I do actually, because I'm taking stuff from Baldur's Gate again, I do like the idea in Baldur's Gate where Paladin takes their oath at level 1, because that's something that I've always found weird, that you're like a Paladin but you don't have an oath until you're level 3, even though that's the whole thing of a Paladin. I don't know. Anyway, personal opinions. Sorcerer's Vitality is gone. Okay. What is Sorcerer's Vitality again? Where is it? Sorcerer's Vitality. Can't even find it. That's how... Oh, here, level 5. You always have Sorcerer's Vitality spell prepared. Yeah, okay, so that was like a spell. Cool. Sorcerer's Restoration is gone. You can you regain 4 expended sorcery points when you roll initiative or... Oh no, it has moved from 15 to 5. If you have no sorcery points when you roll initiative, the feature restores a certain number. At level 5? Huh. That's a funky one. I did not expect them to give you free sorcery points at 5. For 2 reasons. One, 5 is pretty much a power level for main casters. Especially sorcerers and wizards, because you get Fireball. And that's not even counting the whole... Okay, so they're literally just giving you... Huh. Would it still be the same thing where you get like 4 points? Because that's a lot of points that you get, like, at this level. Let's have a look. Because it used to be you get 4. So, Oh, wait, no, sorry. Yeah, okay, but the difference is, in the original, in Playtest 5, it was you regain 4 expended sorcery points whenever you roll initiative or finish a short rest. So you always have 4 points to play with, because the next initiative you'll get 4 points. Here it's, if you have none, you get them back, like the old school level 18 bullshit that we got at some point. Okay, sure. Sorcery Incarnate has moved from 9 to 7. Yeah, okay, which was pretty much you had a spell, and Arcane Apotheosis has moved to level 20. Which, at the time of Playtest 5, we still had Epic Boons at 20. So they moved it, and it's also for innate sorcery. So they're doing a lot with innate sorcery, apparently, so... I'm assuming that's the new Sorcerer special ability that makes him special, I guess. So, okay. Consult the following list, yada yada yada. So I'm assuming hit points. This is all probably still the same. No armor training, nothing special here. Simple weapons. I'm pretty sure this used to be a thing in Playtest 5. Yeah, simple weapons, but I'm also pretty sure that the player's handbook had a different, yeah, had daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, light crossbows. I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know how I feel about this, on sorcerers and wizards specifically. I get the quarterstaff proficiency is like one that I'm okay with. Daggers is one that I'm maybe okay with. But like... you know, all simple weapons pretty much means you're allowing them to pick up a hand axe. And to me, I feel like the downside of like a sorcerer and a wizard should at least be that they can't necessarily beat the shit out of someone, but maybe that's just me. If you want to hit someone in the face with something... And you could make the argument like, oh, but what about like Bladesinger or whatever? Yeah, but they get those proficiencies through their subclass. I don't know. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to agree with simple weapon proficiency. They might have done it this way to make it easier because of course simple weapons, it's just like you don't have to look up the exact list of proficiencies every single time you get a weapon. Then again, how many times do you really use a weapon on a sorcerer, I guess, but you know. On a bard, you use it a lot, but on a sorcerer, not necessarily. See, like, giving a spear... I'm sorry, giving a spear as starting equipment to... Like, a dagger I can get, because there is, like, a little bit of a thing where, like, you know, a sorcerer cuts their components, or like, you know, is able to just do stuff with a dagger, and they're able to stab someone with it, like, you know... But like, why the hell would you give a sorcerer a spear as their level 1 equipment? What is the point of this? How often is a sorcerer going to wield a spear? You know that for a sorcerer, most of the time your 2 highest stats are charisma and constitution, probably dexterity, you know so many people are not going to have a high value in strength. Assuming point buy, which to be fair, I'm assuming the game has kind of been balanced around, so... Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're not allowed to pick a spear as your starting equipment. If you want to play a sorcerer with strength and a spear, like, by all means, go for it. It's your character. Build it however you like, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I'm saying, like, in starting equipment, this doesn't make any sense. Like, the starting equipment where new players are going to look to see what they start with, this does not make any sense. But that's nitpicky, I guess. Because to be fair, again, you're probably almost never going to use it. So multi-classing, you have to multi-class into Charisma, as usual. Spell, yeah, I'm assuming this hasn't really changed. Innate Sorcery. An event in your past left an indelible mark on you, infusing you with simmering magic. As a bonus action, you can release that magic for a minute, during which you gain the following benefits. Spell save DC of your sorcerer spells increases by 1. You have advantage on the attack rolls of sorcerer spells you cast. You can use this feature twice, and you gain all expended uses of it when you finish a long rest. Okay, so... This is a good feature. I'm assuming this isn't something that's in the table that increases, right? Yeah, no, it's not. Okay, so you just get it twice. No matter when. It's not proficiency based, it's just you get it twice. Because I'm pretty sure early game, so I'm assuming the reason they did it like this, if you think about it, I think there's very little in terms of sorcerer spells that give you that really force you to make an attack roll. Like, what do you have off the top? Like, you have the cantrips, you have firebolt, you have shocking grasp. I think you have ray of frost. You have Does this apply to Booming Blade and Green Flame Blade? Because technically, it's an attack roll of a sorcerer spell. Technically, you are casting a sorcerer spell and doing an attack roll as a part of that. Does that mean that innate sorcery applies to Booming Blade? Because if that's the case, this is pretty good for like sort of a Gish build, right? This is pretty good for like a Gish build. You might want to like especially like once you get to Hexblade or Paladin, you just multi-class one level into Sorcerer just for this, because then every single time because then you can literally go into combat, bonus action innate sorcery, action Booming Blade, and do stuff, right? Sure, on Paladin, it's probably not going to be that great necessarily unless you can set it up, because you kind of want to use your bonus actions to smite, seeing as that's now been changed, the way smites work. But like, in base, I would assume that this is not a bad way to play it. And the spell save DC of your sorcerer spells increases by 1, that's always good. That's a 5%, like, that's 5% chance for your enemies to fail their save that you otherwise didn't have, unless, you know, very specific scenarios. So this feature is always gonna be good. It's limited to twice because this does feel like a pretty powerful feature, like being able to get advantage on attack rolls. It also specifically states sorcerer spells, which is a nice little touch because that pretty much means that you cannot, right? You can't like do this, then multi-class into I don't know, Bard, and your Vicious Mockery isn't all of a sudden gonna have a higher thingy. But you also can't like Sorcerer and then multi-class into Warlock and have advantage on all your Eldritch Blast shots. Which technically would be an option too. So honestly, I'm gonna be honest, this is a good feature. I think this is good. This is decent.